My name is Maya Ellison, and I'm 29 years old. If my childhood were a movie, my older sister Raina was the exploding skyline, and I was the dolly grip holding the camera steady so she could smolder in perfect light. When teachers said natural leader, they were looking at Raina. When the Wi-Fi sputtered, they were looking for me under the TV stand with a flashlight and a roll of painter's tape. I learned early that applause in my family had a gatekeeper, Mom. She'd watch Raina stride across a room like a slogan, head high, laugh just loud enough to recruit people, and say, "See? That spark. She was born for more." Then I'd come home with an A in calculus and hear, "Smart girls don't brag, Maya." It wasn't cruelty. It was a script Mom liked. Raina, a dazzling headline. Me, the fine print no one quotes. I wasn't jealous, not at the beginning. I was a fixer, a listener, and when the world buzzed too loud, I soldered old circuit boards in the garage with a thrift store iron and music that sounded like electricity learning to breathe. Raina would wrinkle her nose at the metallic tang of flux and say, "You still playing with junk?" I'd smile and file it away in the neat cabinets inside my head. Receipts. Not for revenge, at least that's what I told myself, but for clarity later. By the time high school ended, Raina collected yearbook superlatives like jewelry. I graduated without fanfare, a quiet person in a loud family. Raina went off to college and majored in spotlight. I went 3 states away and majored in building things people don't clap for until it saves their day. College gave me something I didn't know I craved. A room where listening was a superpower and finishing what I started felt like oxygen. I tutored stats at night, coded between classes, and stitched together an invoicing tool for a local florist because her books gave me hives. Word spread. The tool grew legs. The legs learned to run. 5 years later, I had 2 floors downtown, a team that trusted each other without needing slogans, and clients who recommended us in real sentences, not hashtags. The best part? I didn't need my family to notice, or so I believed, until a Tuesday morning when my phone lit up like a small alarm. "Mom, can we talk? It's about Raina. She's ready now." Ready for what? A coronation? Another comeback tour funded by someone who did the grunt work she refuses to touch? I didn't text back. The phone rang. Mom's voice wove sunshine through the line like she hadn't ghosted our last 3 holidays. "Sweetheart," she chirped, "your sister finally knows what she wants. She wants to work with you." "Excuse me?" "In your company," she said, like she was offering me a tax deduction. "Raina's a natural leader, always has been. She just needs a little push." "I already have a team," I said. Calm, level, the voice I use when a client asks for a quick change that requires rewriting the internet. "Oh, come on. You said yourself you're always busy. She could lighten your load." Like an anchor lightens a ship. I stared at the downtown skyline through my office window and felt something settle in me, cool and precise, like aligning a lens before the shot. "Sure," I said. "Tell her to bring a resume." Mom laughed, that light, tinkling sound she uses to make people feel silly for being serious. "Don't be ridiculous." She waited for me to join in. I didn't. "So, next week then?" "Yes," I said, and hung up, heart steady in my chest, because I already knew what I was going to do. Not vindictive, educational. There's a difference. The following Monday, at 9:13 a.m., Raina swept into our lobby like the hero shot of a perfume ad called Entitlement. Sunglasses indoors, a blazer with shoulder pads that could signal ships. Tina, my receptionist since the garage days, lifted one eyebrow so high it should have had its own LinkedIn. "Can I help you?" Raina slid off the glasses as if unveiling a masterpiece. "I'm Raina Ellison, the boss's sister." "Great," Tina said, fingers clacking. "Did you bring a resume?" Raina laughed like Tina had told a joke with no punchline. "We're family." I watched from the security feed, feeling a migraine fizz at the edges like a shaken soda can. I buzzed reception. "Send her up." Raina did a slow tour of my office, making sure the windows saw her before the furniture. "Nice digs, Geb," she said. "You always had a knack for geek stuff." "Charming." She dropped into the chair opposite me, legs crossed like a promise. "So, I'm thinking something leadership-y, director, or, like, culture." "What are you applying for?" I asked. "Leadership," she said. "I'll let HR finesse the title." "You do realize we have a chain of command and procedures." She waved a hand. "I'm not a paperwork person. I'm more big picture. Vision, morale, rally the troops. She smiled. It's a gift. Charisma? I said. A gift. I slid a printed sheet across the desk. We're hiring for entry-level support. 19 an hour. She blinked, the smile cracking. I'm your sister. I'm not answering phones. Everyone starts somewhere, Raina. She stared, then recovered, smoothing her expression back into a magazine spread. Fine, for now. But you know I'm a leader. Prove it, I said. I'll be here tomorrow. 8:30. Black shirt, no sunglasses. I paused. Lose the cologne. This isn't a nightclub. She stood, the air shifting. Mom won't like this. Good thing Mom doesn't run my company. Tuesday, 8:42. Black shirt, wrinkled, late. Tina handed Raina a headset like she was bequeathing irony. You'll shadow Damon, I said, our top support rep, who could talk a server down from a ledge. Raina looked him up and down like she was judging fruit at a market. I'm shadowing him? Yes, I replied. Try to keep up. The first hour was theater. Raina interrupted Damon's calls with lines like, use her name. People love that. Smile. Customers can hear it. By lunch, Damon pinged me. Your sister needs a crash course in humility. I typed back. Consider this the pilot episode. Wednesday, Raina discovered Slack and created Raina Vision. She posted a manifesto about synergy, hosted a walk and talk in the hallway. No one invited, no one came, and left a 5-slide PowerPoint in the printer tray titled Executive Culture Plan. Slide 3 read, We need synergy, also vibes. Marketing debated framing it as satire. By Friday, the coffee machine wore a post-it, Fuel for Future Executives. Team Raina. I stared at it, wondering if proximity to this much bravado could reduce cognitive function. When I called her in, she dropped into the chair like gravity owed her money. Look, she said, I'm shaking things up. That's what leaders do. You were hired for support, I said. Entry level. You haven't completed one assigned task. That's because you're intimidated, she said softly. You've always played it safe. I breathed in through my nose, out through my mouth. Then, the knock. Come in. Mom entered in a pantsuit with a binder, like co-counsel for the defense of Raina. I'm here, she announced, to ensure my daughter is treated fairly. She sat without asking, tugged open the binder, and fanned out documents, a word art resume, a flowchart labeled Raina's Path to Leadership, and a page titled Suggested Titles featuring Strategic Director, Chief of Culture, and, my favorite, Vision Architect. I've run this company for 6 years, I said, voice even. 50+ employees. We're not playing dress up. Mom's smile cooled half a degree. Why are you so resistant to helping your sister? Afraid she'll outshine you? I gave her a job, I said, a real one. She wants the corner office without the stairs. Raina folded her arms, gaze steady, daring me to blink. I didn't. Instead, something clicked in place, like a lens finding focus. You're right, I said to both of them. Raina is a natural leader. Raina's chin lifted, bright with vindication. Mom beamed. Finally. I'll give her a new title, I continued, one she'll remember. What title, Mom asked. I didn't answer. Because some lessons need staging, lighting, the right audience, and a mop. I arrived early the next morning and unlocked the office myself, the city just waking, steel and glass rubbing sleep from their eyes. I wore my sharp navy blazer, not for theatrics, but for armor. Tina passed me a coffee and whispered, You good? Perfect, I said, and watched the lobby feed. At 9:03, Raina floated in, sunglasses gone, confidence somehow louder. I met her at the conference room door with a folder bearing our logo. Am I finally getting the title? She asked, smile gleaming. Oh, yes, I said, sliding the document across the table. Director of Sanitation Strategy. Her smile cracked like ice under a heel. Of what? Sanitation strategy, I said, calm as a still lake. We've neglected that vertical. Who better than you to elevate it? She stared at me as if I'd suggested she lick the carpet. You want me to clean. Not just clean, I said, leaning back. Lead, design workflows, audit restrooms, analyze soap-to-sink ratios, improve morale where it begins, where people live their day. Mom's voice echoed faintly from yesterday, a ghost in a courtroom. She's a leader. I smiled. Here's your shot. I didn't say lesson. I didn't have to. In the glass reflection, the city blinked. Somewhere, a delivery truck rattled past like a drum roll. And the performance, finally, was ready to begin. By 10 a.m. that same morning, Raina Reed had already turned her new leadership opportunity into a full-blown personal brand. She printed out a stack of posters, cheap A4 paper, smeared ink, and taped them on every door she could reach. Across the top, in bold Arial font, it read, "Clean culture, EOL, clean mindset, the Raina Revolution." I stared at one outside the kitchen. There she was, smiling in a poorly lit selfie beside a mop bucket. My staff didn't know whether to laugh or ask for hazard pay. "Tina," I said, rubbing my temple, "how long have those been up?" "Since 9/17, she said flatly. She also asked for access to the internal design drive. Denied. "Already done," Tina replied. Raina burst into my office 15 minutes later, laptop in hand, voice carrying that cheerleader energy she's weaponized since kindergarten. "Guess what?" she said. "I just scheduled a team rally for tomorrow morning." "A rally?" "Yeah, I'm calling it the Spark Session. We'll start with an icebreaker about personal hygiene goals, then Vision Board, the company's emotional core." I blinked slowly. "Raina, you're the director of sanitation strategy, not human resources." She grinned. "Exactly. Cleanliness is next to motivation. It's all connected." "Cancel the session," I said. Her smile thinned. "You're threatened. I'm trying to prevent you from humiliating yourself." She set her laptop down and folded her arms. "You can't handle a woman who leads differently, Kathy." "I can't handle a woman who doesn't read her job description." The next day, she held the Spark Session anyway, solo. She recorded herself speaking to an empty conference room, gave a speech about turning stains into standards, then emailed the video to the entire company. Subject line, "Leadership, it starts with soap." The replies were brutal. "Is this satire?" "Marketing." "Does she want the mop budget doubled?" "Finance." "She scares the janitor." HR. By Thursday, she'd written a mission statement that included the phrase, "Cleansing the workplace spiritually and physically." Friday, she stopped by my door again, drenched in self-satisfaction. "Guess what?" she said. "Mom loved my initiative. She says I have your father's ambition." "Funny," I said. "Dad used to clean up after himself." Her smirk faltered, just for a second. But then she straightened, brushed imaginary dust off her sleeve, and said, "You'll thank me when morale skyrockets." "Raina," I said, gesturing toward the hallway, "your job isn't morale, it's maintenance. Have you done any of it?" "I delegated," she said proudly. "To who?" "Paul, the janitor guy. I told him to email me daily updates." "He's your team member, not your employee." "Details," she said, waving a hand. That night, I walked through the office after everyone left. Paul was still there, mop in hand, earbuds in, humming softly. "How's Raina doing?" I asked. He chuckled. "She renamed me Operations Co-Captain, then told me to visualize leadership." "And?" "I visualized her leaving early again." I smiled. "Thanks, Paul. You're doing great work." The next morning, Raina strutted in wearing heels that echoed like war drums on the tile. She carried a clipboard and a whiteboard marker. "I've been thinking," she said. "We should hold a building-wide cleanliness audit. I'll lead, of course." "You haven't even completed your first week," I said. "All the more reason to make an impact," she replied, jotting something dramatic on her board. "Wipe away mediocrity." I pinched the bridge of my nose. "You have until 5 p.m. to finish your assigned checklist. If not, we'll have to reconsider your fit here." She scoffed. "Oh, please. You wouldn't dare fire your own sister." I met her gaze. "I wouldn't need to. You'd quit before I had to." And as if the universe wanted to prove my point, that's exactly what happened. At 4:52 p.m., Tina knocked on my door. She left. Already? She dropped this off. It was a napkin. On it, scrawled in pink gel pen, "This company can't handle real leadership. I'm meant for bigger things. RR." I let out a slow exhale, not even surprise, just a kind of tired amusement. "Archive it," I told Tina. "As comedy or tragedy?" "Both," I said. That night, my phone vibrated nonstop. The family group chat was exploding. "Mom, you made Raina clean bathrooms? Unbelievable." "Aunt Carol, wasn't that an important job, though?" "Uncle Ted, leadership starts with humility, doesn't it?" "Grandma, family comes before business, Kathy." "Raina, some people just fear powerful women." I stared at the screen and chuckled softly. For once, not everyone was taking her side. Uncle Rob, the only one who ever bothered to ask how my company was doing, wrote, 5 days and she quit? Sounds like leadership, all right. Leading herself out the door. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because the best revenge wasn't the job title. It was the silence that followed once she left the stage she built for herself. For the first time in weeks, the office felt peaceful. No slogans, no perfume clouding the air, just the sound of real work being done by people who earned their place there. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. People like Raina never exit quietly. They rebrand. And 3 weeks later, she did exactly that. It started with a YouTube notification. I was halfway through my morning coffee when I saw it. Raina Reed presents Lead Like a Legend, How to Unlock Your Inner Alpha. Her thumbnail? Raina in a navy blazer, arms folded, standing in front of what was clearly the restroom mirror at my office. I knew that wall tile pattern anywhere. I clicked, partly horrified, partly morbidly curious. Hey leaders, she began, voice overly bright, the kind that should come with a volume warning. Have you ever been suppressed by a system afraid of your potential? She smiled, the same smile she used when stealing credit for school projects. I have. But I turned that pain into purpose. You see, real leaders don't clean up other people's messes. They build empires. Then came stock music, a shaky drone shot of a parking lot, and a whiteboard scrawled with the words, Cleansing Corporate Culture, Raina Reed Method. I nearly choked on my coffee. 7 minutes of motivational jargon and half-truths later, she ended with, Some people fear greatness, but I'll keep shining because I was born to lead. The comments were chaos. Is this satire? Girl filmed this in a bathroom? CEO of Mop Buckets. By noon, Tina slid into my office, grinning like she'd just watched a comedy special. Your sister's video has 86 views, she said. 84 of them are from the break room. I groaned. Please tell me she didn't use our logo anywhere. She cropped it, Tina replied. Badly. Still visible. That night I got the inevitable call. Mom. Kathy, she sighed. Raina's just experimenting. Don't make fun of her. She's finding herself. By filming self-help in a public bathroom? She's entrepreneurial, Mom insisted. You should support that. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. I supported her. For 5 days. She left a resignation note on a napkin. Maybe you pushed her too hard. Or not hard enough, I murmured. Silence. Then, she's applying for business loans. Maybe you could give her something. Consulting, freelancing, a project. Does she know you're asking? Not yet, Mom admitted. Of course not. It's always easier to negotiate behind Raina's back than to let her face the echo of her own failures. I didn't answer yes or no, just, I'll think about it. I didn't. But the universe has a wicked sense of humor, because 4 days later, my office line rang. Caller ID, Raina Reed. Hey, sis, she chirped, falsely casual. Long time. 3 weeks, I said. Not that long. She laughed. Feels longer. Anyway, I've been reflecting. Growth mindset, synergy, all that. I want a second chance. I raised an eyebrow, unseen. With what? Work. Not cleaning, obviously. Something that fits me. Public-facing, strategic. You still think this is about charisma? Well, yeah, I'm good with people. No, I said calmly. You're good with attention. Leadership isn't about spotlights. It's about substance. A pause. So that's a no? Not exactly, I said, letting it hang. If you're serious, it'll be under my terms. No shortcuts, no slogans. I can handle that, she said quickly. When do I start? Monday. She exhaled with relief. You won't regret this. Oh, I won't, I said softly. But you might. Monday morning. Rain poured so hard it blurred the city into watercolor. At 8:56 a.m., Raina entered the lobby, hair damp, but confidence intact. Round 2, she announced to Tina. Tina slid a packet across the desk. You'll need to sign this first. Raina frowned. Probationary contract? 30 days, Tina said sweetly. Title, Junior Administrative Assistant. Temporary. Evaluation weekly. Raina flipped through the pages. Errands, equipment returns, QA logs. This is grunt work. Tina smiled like a cat who'd swallowed the canary. All employees start somewhere. Raina looked up just as I walked through with a fresh coffee. You said you'd give me a second chance. I am, I replied. Now earn what comes next. Week 1. Karma clocked in early. Day 2. Raina made 3 crosstown trips to deliver hardware returns and forgot the shipping labels each time. Day 3. She tried to fix an office chair and attach the seat backward. Day 4. She delivered the CFO's vegan salad to the wrong floor, then blamed the receptionist when it vanished. The receptionist turned out to be the CFO herself. Every Friday we held review meetings. She'd come in rehearsed, pitching phrases like growth trajectory and visionary accountability. I'd smile and ask, "Did you file the inventory report?" Cue silence. By the end of week 1, the blazer was replaced by a button-down. The lip gloss disappeared. The performative smile softened into something real, nervous, but human. She stopped calling me sis at work. She stopped saying, "I've got charisma." And finally, she started listening. Week 2. She arrived early, first one in the building. Helped Tina unjam the printer without being asked. I caught it on camera, but didn't mention it. Later that day, Damon sent me a Slack message. "Your sister actually apologized for interrupting my call last month. Thought you should know." I didn't reply right away, just stared at the screen, oddly still. Maybe this time the lesson was landing. Maybe, for the first time, Raina Reed wasn't performing. She was learning. But pride dies hard, and before humility settles, it always flares one last time. I didn't know it yet, but her final test was about to begin. And it wouldn't involve mops this time, it would involve trust. By week 3, something strange started happening. The office began to like her. It wasn't because she suddenly became perfect. Far from it. Raina still managed to misplace a delivery receipt, send one client invoice to another by accident, and once tried to fix an error by manually editing a finalized PDF file. But she was trying. The arrogance had dulled into something softer, almost endearing. I'd pass by her desk and see her biting her lip while triple-checking a spreadsheet, whispering numbers under her breath like incantations. She stayed late, left early coffee for Tina, and even took out the recycling once, voluntarily. It wasn't theatrical this time. No selfies, no rise and grind posts, just quiet effort. Still, I wasn't naive. I'd seen too many false starts with her, grand gestures that evaporated the moment attention faded, so I waited, watched, measured. Friday review. She came in, clutching a notebook and looking nervous. Not fake nervous, the kind that comes from realizing competence isn't automatic. "Morning," I said. "Hi," she murmured, sitting down. "I wanted to talk about the misfiled shipping report." "You mean the one that delayed a delivery by 2 days?" Her cheeks reddened. "Yeah, I fixed it. Stayed till 10 last night. I double-checked every entry. I even called the supplier this morning to confirm." I nodded. "And?" "It's resolved. They said it's fine now." I studied her for a beat. "Good." She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for a week. Then quieter. "I get it now. Why you made me start here." "Do you?" She nodded slowly. "Leadership isn't the show. It's the maintenance. The boring stuff that keeps everyone else from drowning." I said nothing, but a small flicker of warmth sparked somewhere under my ribs. Progress. Week 4. The company was prepping for our midsummer rooftop party, an annual tradition where we celebrated small victories with string lights, cheap Prosecco, and too many cupcakes. Tina was planning this catering, Damon handled the playlists, and Raina, surprisingly, volunteered to help organize supply pickups. "Sure," I said, trying not to sound shocked. "We'll need labels, lists, and vendor confirmations." She grinned. "No problem. I'm good with details now." I raised an eyebrow. "You weren't last month." "Yeah, well," she smirked faintly. "Turns out humility improves memory." That Friday, after hours, I found her in the break room, alphabetizing paper files. The air smelled like toner and takeout. "You could have gone home hours ago," I said. She shrugged. "If I leave, I'll just keep thinking about what's unfinished." I leaned against the doorframe watching her. "You've changed," she snorted. That's what happens when you have to clean your own mistakes instead of delegating them. For a second, neither of us spoke. The hum of the copy machine filled the silence. Then she said something that hit deeper than she realized. "I used to think the company was this big cold system that didn't get me. But it's not. It's a bunch of people who work hard because they respect what they're building. I never respected anything before." I didn't trust my voice enough to answer. She looked up, eyes tired but clearer. "I know I'm not forgiven yet, but thanks for not giving up on me." I nodded once. "You earned the right to say that." The rooftop party. A week later, the night finally came. Lanterns glowed above the terrace, laughter drifted over the city skyline, and for the first time in months, the building didn't feel heavy. Paul, our janitor, made a toast, half joke, half wisdom. "To clean starts and clean bathrooms," he said, raising his plastic cup. The crowd roared. Raina laughed with them, genuinely this time. No spotlight, no performance, just belonging. Halfway through the night, she found me near the railing, where the city lights shimmered like confetti. "Can I say something?" she asked. "Depends," I said cautiously. "If it involves synergy or sparkle, I'm leaving." She rolled her eyes. Not a speech, just a thank you. She took a deep breath. "When I started, I thought you were jealous of me, or scared, or just trying to prove a point. But you weren't. You were protecting what you built, and trying to teach me what it takes to keep something standing." The wind tugged her hair, softening her expression. "I didn't make it easy for you. But you didn't throw me away either, so thank you." I clinked my glass against hers. "You're welcome, Raina." We stood there for a while, quiet, the city humming below. And then she said it, almost shyly. "Do you think I could ever lead again?" I smiled faintly. "You already are. You just finally learned that leadership starts at the bottom, not on a stage." She laughed. "Maybe I'll skip the bathroom metaphors next time." "Please do." Later that night, after everyone left, I checked my phone. One missed call. "Mom." I hesitated, then called her back. "Sweetheart," she answered. "I saw the photos Tina posted. Raina looked so happy." "She was," I said simply. "I didn't know she had it in her," Mom admitted softly. "You must be proud." I looked out at the empty rooftop, lights flickering in the wind. "Yeah," I said after a pause. "I'm proud for her." Mom's voice cracked just a little. "Thank you for not giving up on her. You've done what I couldn't." I smiled. "You raised us both, Mom. I just rewired the system." We said goodnight, and I slipped my phone into my pocket. Across the terrace, I spotted Raina laughing with Paul as they struggled with the label printer. She was showing him how to fix a paper jam, carefully, patiently, no cameras in sight. For once, she didn't need an audience. She just needed a purpose. And maybe, finally, she'd found it.